Hello, everybody. How are you? Welcome. So we are doing Business Tarot Tuesdays. For those of you that are new, I'm Ashley Bradley. I'm an intuitive business coach, and we are just playing in the space of intuition. Although I guess when people join me live, we sort of we do a little dance between like coaching and intuition, and so you're always welcome. You're always welcome to join me live. And if you ever want to jump the line tonight and make sure that you get a reading, that is an option. I will go in a random order. So that's the first thing I want you guys to know, is that we don't go in consecutive order. We have a little bit of a number system here so that we can stay organized and basically let universe decide who goes and in what order. Because what we find is that if you are hearing a reading and there's something that resonates with you and you're just like, wow, that sounds like what's going on with me, or that feels almost like it could be for me, it's because it is. And we, instead of letting kind of ego guide the process, we always want to make sure that we are going in universal flow. So that's how we do it. So what we're going to do here is have Solange give you a number. So if you're just showing up, thank you. Is it Yaka? Am I saying your name correctly? Hi, Lauren. So what I want you guys to do is basically raise your hand and show that you want a reading by asking a question about your business. And I do like to keep it somewhat open in terms of business, career, money, or purpose. Hey, Jocelyn, how are you? So once you do that, Solange is going to show up. Solange is here. She's on my team. I'm going to bring her in for a moment just so that she could say hello, but she's going to give you a number. Say hi to everyone.
Hi, everybody. How are you doing? I'm going to
That's
some numbers
Solange.
tonight.
So Solange helps us keep the party flowing, basically, so that I can just do my thing and pull cards and talk to you guys. She helps do like all the organizing behind the scenes. Hi, Terry. If any of you that are saying hi, thank you for saying hi, by the way. I'm excited you're here. But if any of you that are saying hi do want a reading tonight, make sure that you let us know in the comments so that we can give you a number. And then what I think I'm going to do is just dive in with Yaka first. I'm going to dive in with Yaka first. And then we do have a few reserved readings. So we do have Elaine coming up in about 10 minutes who's going to join me live. And if you guys are not in my group, I do have a group that I linked here. And I do some reserved readings as a perk of being in the group. So there's some women that are going to be actually popping in live tonight and having a conversation. So I'm going to go with Yaka, and then everybody else, if you can just look for Solange interacting with you in the comments. Okay. So Yaka. Okay. So what I see is, am I going to succeed in my real estate investing career? So what we're going to do is we're going to actually look at real estate investing career. So thank you actually for asking it that way, Yaka, because it was a perfect reminder for me to share with everybody that when we do answer questions in readings, that we try to veer away from the yes, no questions. I mean, pendulums are great, and they could basically tell us based on what the energy looks like now, do we see an alignment with that goal? But what I always like to remind people of with readings is that there is free will choice. It's not like everything is just like set in stone and it either is or it isn't. But that is what is so great, is we get to tune into the energy and see based on where it's at now, is it lined up with the goal that you're wanting? Is it lined up with success in your real estate investing career? If we like the answer, it's like, great, like how do we pick up the speed? How do we do more of this to keep it going? Or if we don't like the answer, then it could be just a small tweak where you end up kind of closer aligned, lined up with that goal. So that is why we do it that way. So we're going to look at just what we're seeing in terms of the real estate investing career. Okay. So invite in your spirit team. Hold that question in your heart, Yaka. Okay. I feel like such a fun giddiness with you. Like, I feel like a almost like a very excited, kind of like high energy as soon as I connect in with you, Yaka. And it's interesting because like when I first, like if I just look at my perspective, I'm just like, oh, real estate investing. Interesting. It's not like I light up, but there's something that I'm getting with you that it just feels like it does light you up, that it doesn't feel like it's something that you've chosen just because your uncle's like father's dad is in the industry. It does feel like there's a lot of like some kind of excitement or soul alignment. And it does feel like for you, it's more tied to lifestyle, that like, that there's something that it's providing for you, and that part of it is really pulling you in, and you just have like an excitement and a thirst for all the knowledge. So what I would love to have you do, Yaka, and everybody else after, is talk to me just like we are sitting across from each other. Tell me you're saying it does light you up. Okay, yes. Perfect. Yeah, just talk to me so I can like really feel how this is coming in. So the Knight of Water card's coming in. It's saying your wish comes true. Concerns fade away. A love of life. Don't you love when these like cards come up like this? So I do want to give you just a little that I'm seeing here in terms of you and the energy. And some of it's just confirmation for some work that you've been doing in recent months, that it feels like you've been better at sort of navigating the emotional ups and downs. I see in more recent past that there were some things that went on, that things would really throw you, that like it would kind of get you down and out and kind of have you kind of in a deep funk. But I just see a lot of resiliency that's built. So I just want to give you confirmation of that, and show that like all the work that you put in recent months of how to navigate that and realizing that it's not as much of a linear path. It just shows me that you are able to really keep your head above water and remain in choice and remain in really kind of conscious alignment of seeing whatever is coming towards you is happening for you. It's not working against you. And so the thing that I want to bring you back to is just remembering that energy of surrender, because that is like sort of like, I guess almost like a video game. The next level of what I'm seeing for you is like releasing resistance more and more, because it just feels like, let me just like tune into this a little bit more. Like what I see for you is like, it's more about you being in that lifestyle, that you're the kind of person that goes out and kind of talks about it and inspires people. And I see you helping people by just being like, you're successful in what you're doing and you talk about it, and you're like the person that builds other people up. And it almost just feels like, you're helping people, but the help that you're providing and a lot of the purpose that you get from it, it's actually not coming directly from the career. It's like the interactions that you have surrounding it. And it feels like it's specifically with like a lot of women in your circle and them seeing you be successful. And so I just want you to remember that, because I think that that is, it's sort of like one of the purpose things for you that really keeps you going when things get hard. Okay. Okay, so I want to do, so you can help people, help your family. Okay, so I'm going to bring in another person. So you're saying yes. Okay, that makes sense. Good. So Solange, who are we going to next? Do we have numbers? What's going on, Solange?
We have 5, up to number 5. We are up to number 5 right now.
We have 5, and that doesn't include Elaine, who we're bringing in a couple minutes, right?
Exactly. No, she's booked for 6:15. So
perfect. I want to go to number 3 first. Who is number 3?
Okay, Taylor.
Taylor. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So Taylor's number 3. Let me find you, Taylor. Okay. And guys, that if you do want to go live, I can have you jump the line, so to speak, by joining backstage. I would pull you into the feed. So let's see, Taylor. Well, Lively Emerging Leaders Program, be successful. So we're going to reroute that. We're going to look again, kind of like how I was describing with Yaka, and not make it a yes, no question. We're just going to back out of looking at what we're seeing in terms of you and this Lively Emerging Leaders Program. So Taylor Goodwin. So focus on that question. I'm going to get tuned into you. Okay. So Taylor, I feel like there's two that show up for you. I feel like you have a guide, and then it feels like it's either a separate guide or like someone working with you in spirit, like an angel. Because I feel like it's interesting how they're showing me that there's two people that are helping you with this. So it does feel like there's a lot of support here in terms of what I want to call like angelic protection, in terms of the universe being like really cheering you on for this one and wanting to help make things easier, as long as you're listening, as long as you're in flow. So the Ace of Fire card is coming in. It's talking about an exciting new opportunity, career advancement, and it's saying change your life now. As soon as I said that, have you considered like some kind of a location change recently? Because it's kind of like this feeling came in about being uncomfortable about some kind of a change, like, and it feels almost like a location change. I don't know if there's something that you've been considering about like leaving your job, but it's like that discomfort, kind of that full body uncomfortable feeling that happens when we're really out of our comfort zone because some kind of a change. And it's either like related to job or location. So I'm just really curious about that. They're showing me that, let me just get tuned in and see what else I could hear here with this. Okay. So they're talking about you need to become a little bit more focused, Taylor, on what needs to happen on a day-to-day basis, because they're showing me that you have a lot of the vision that you tend to have, like very much of a visionary kind of thing where I think you can clearly sort of express and talk about and even manifest the things that you're wanting. And right now it's actually coming down to just like the small day-to-day actions that you show up and do on a consistent basis. And so they're showing me that you right now are really just needing to take the time to pause, slow down, and I want you to actually ask yourself the question, what are like the 3 to 5 things that if I show up and I do them every day consistently, that I'm going to be moving this forward? And I'm curious as well if that something about some kind of the change, that was really interesting. I don't see that you responded to that yet. Oh, let's see. You're moving into your new place this weekend. Okay, and the program's out of your comfort zone. Okay. Okay, got it. Okay. Yeah, so that would make sense then with the moving, why they're showing that to me, because it does feel like there's like something that would be affecting maybe why you're not able to kind of execute and do all these things right now. So that is perfect. That is perfect. So yeah, just focus on that. But like what I want you to do, Taylor, is just like really, and I'm going to pull you in just a moment, Elaine, just to give you a heads up, since I know we're at 6:15, is get past that move, and then, but ask yourself in the meantime, what those things are, those like things that you need to do on a day-to-day basis, those small things. Okay, perfect. So Elaine, I'm going to add you in. Hello. I think you're muted. Did I meet?
Okay, try that.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. What do you want to do a reading on tonight?
Oh my goodness. It's really hard to come up with a question that's not a yes or no answer.
I know, but it's okay. We can always back out of it a little bit if like we feel like we need to reroute it, you know? We got you.
Well, I'm working and working and working, trying to put myself out there and to build a business and to get it off the ground. And it's just struggling and hoping that, hopefully by the end of the year that I can, at least get a paying client. So
Okay. So Elaine, so I'm going to just see what we're seeing with you in terms of the energy around your business and attracting clients. Let's see what's showing up there. Okay. Okay. They're talking about like some little things that need to be changed around, and that something is sort of it's almost like something being backwards, but then as soon as like you make this one small tweak or change, that things become easier for you. That while it's sort of like, I feel like there's some story and some narration coming in around like, oh, it's going to take a long time, or if it's already taken this long, or like, what else can I be doing? But it actually does feel like one very small tweak or change that sets in, and then all of a sudden things become easier for you. And once you have that first few wins, I see like you having a different level of confidence in yourself, a different level of belief in yourself, and it makes it a lot easier. So the Nine of Water card is coming in, which is interesting because I always feel like it's interesting when in a short period of time, a similar card comes up again in the reading. With sometimes that just happens, and it's like within an hour, randomly the card shows up 3 times. So it's talking about your wish comes true, concerns fade away, a love of life. So when cards like this show up, it's what I'm feeling with you with this is that Spirit is trying to tell you, like, Elaine, please don't give up. Please don't stop. Like, you're so close, Elaine. Like, we don't want you to give up. We want to come in and show you that like you were on the right path. You need to keep going, because I feel like you need to hear that right now, because there's a lot of questioning of like, and I feel like as well, there's some influences around you that are kind of like saying like, Elaine, like, of course it's so niche, or it's so this, or it's so that. So there's a lot of family and a lot of people in your ears that are also making you question this. So I just want to tune in and sort of see what else is there. I think it's so important that, because what I see you doing is sort of like being in the figuring it out space quite a bit. And so being in the place where it's very like Spirit-led strategy is going to be really important for you. And I see you getting a lot of different nudges to things. And so tell me like what your primary sort of like offer is or thing, because I want to see if there's anything that they want to pull in specifically with that.
Okay. My main thing is helping other women, especially after midlife, that are dealing with grief, not the initial grief, but the kind that sets in after everyone goes home and things settle and you kind of get stuck in your grief.
Yeah.
To where you don't know how to take that next step to really get to living life again. So it's a hard one, and they don't want to reach out to family in that because they don't want to burden them. So it's, I want to be there to help guide them through that and to help them find their why for continuing and rebuilding their life.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm seeing for you, like, it's actually like widening it a bit, because it's almost like the message isn't getting through to all the people that it's actually for because of their definitions. Like, I feel like grief feels like such a broad word, and that there's a certain segment of the people that you're connected with that it's not reaching, even though it does apply to them in a different way. Like, because there are obviously a lot of different forms of grief, like even like people that might not be able to see their family right now, or people that lost a job because of this, and they experience like a sense of grief or loss. Like, I feel like there's something beneath that and what I want to see you doing more often, Elaine, is first off, like I feel like you are sort of what's the metaphor? Kind of, you haven't expanded your group that you're talking to enough. And so I do want to see you finding new places and really bringing in your creativity to be spreading your magic, your planting your seeds in a lot of different kinds of places, but in a very like fun way. Like, it feels like it feels just very much based on connection and you helping people. And I feel like that's the next thing that I want you to look at, is sort of like thinking about different words or different stories that you hear from people, because it almost feels like there's different flavors of this, and that different kinds of things resonate with different people. And the more that you share different stories of clients that you've helped, or even stories from your life and sort of the work that you're doing with people. And then making sure that you're making the offer to work with you more, because I also see that like there's this timidness for asking for money, that you actually sometimes give a little bit too much, and that a lot of the people that you're helping should probably be paying you. So yeah, I just want to name that.
Yes. And I am leaning towards emotional healing and well-being.
Okay. I do want to, I want to wrap up just because I know that sometimes we could just keep going on this, and I don't want to get too deep when I know that there's another person that's waiting to come in, but it's not about backing out of the specificity of it. I feel like it's like a different language. Like there's just a different way that you talk about it, and it's not necessarily making it more broad. If anything, it's sort of like just expressing it in different language or words, because it feels like it's just more about how people define things and how they're thinking about things. So those are the things that I'm just feeling and seeing with you. But your card is like, it's very affirming that you are on the right track and that you're not meant to give up, because that's everything that I'm feeling. Is it's just like, Elaine, you're so close. You're so close. Just keep going.
Well, thank you very much. And that does help tremendously, because I do start to get in that little trepidation of, am I really going this way? So yes.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Good. Thank you, Elaine. Bye. Okay, so I'm going to have Solange give me another person before we go to our 6:30. What numbers are we at, Solange?
Okay, so we are up to number 11.
Okay. I'm going to see if I can move through these a little bit faster. Who is number 2 and who is number 4?
Okay, number 4 is Berenice.
And who's number 2?
Number 2, Nicole.
Okay. So Nicole, what's her last name? Nicole Pilmont?
Pilmont, yeah.
Okay. Nicole, have you put your question in? Nicole or Bernice? You guys can actually drop your question in right now. I want to make sure that you're still there. Jocelyn's asking if she has a number.
Actually, we have 2 Nicoles, sorry. We
Okay.
have Nicole Carpenter, which is number 2, and Nicole Pilmont is number 7.
Okay. So Nicole Carpenter. Okay, Nicole, can you drop your question in? And Bernice is still here. Nicole, drop your question in again, because otherwise I have to like scroll all the way back through, and I'm just like, where are we? And then Bernice, go ahead and drop your question in as well, so we can roll into you, okay? And then we have Rebecca coming in at 6:30, which is in about 5 minutes. So we're going to see if we can roll through these quickly. Okay, Nicole, your podcast and intuitive business. Okay. Okay. Nicole, have you started doing readings live yet? Because I almost got a kind of quick little flash, a sensation of you doing something like that. But the 8 of Water card is coming in. It's talking about a desire to move on, the search for something more meaningful, spiritual and emotional growth. There's a sense of like leaving something behind, and I'm kind of just wanting to tune into that and see a little bit more about what they're showing me. Okay. Let me pull a second one, because it's like, okay, life experience, significant life event, powerful revelation that leads to change, time to spread your wings. So what I'm seeing with this is that there's kind of like a dark fogginess that is in the past. It's kind of like you exiting a situation or a past where things weren't really working out, where there was like a lot of stuckness, a lot of chaos. And I feel like part of that is just like being shown to me about your life and your upbringing as well. And the thing that I'm really seeing as being important for you is like really addressing some of those generational belief systems, some of those things that you've picked up about money, because I just feel like they're showing me like this past that sort of has a little bit of weights or anchors or some stories, some narratives around what's for you, what's not for you, what can work, what is a certain way to make money. And that's a thing that a lot of us have, but I'm just seeing that like for you at this specific point in your journey, it's time for you to more directly face that. They're also bringing me in sort of the metaphor of like a rose or a flower, like basically that you can't force, and I'm getting a lot of tingly scalp head chills, that you can't like force something to open before it's ready. So there's a bit of divine timing, but it's also a bit of like, be patient, like put in the time, keep showing up, like you're on the right path, like, but just like you can't like force a flower to just open and bloom and be ready, even though you really, really want it to be ready. It's sort of like, it's like continuing to show up and water it and tend to it and add the fertilizer. And that's the stage that they're just basically trying to show is like, do the work around money, clear some of those money blocks specifically and some of those generational beliefs. And they did point me towards witch wound, that there is a bit of like holding back with you still. And so witch wound, for those of you that haven't heard that term before, it's because most of us that are coaches and healers were killed for doing this kind of work and being who we are. And so there's a lot of those internal fears of like taking it too far or going too far or saying a little bit too much. And so it's showing me that there's a layer or two more that could be removed for you to show up in your full power and your full authenticity. Okay. Bernice, I'm going to go to you after this. Okay. I'm going to go to you after, just because, I know that it's 6:30, so I'm going to bring Rebecca in just a moment, and then Bernice will go to your question about feeling stuck around like purpose. Nicole, are you in my group? And tell me if that makes sense for you. Are you in my group yet? Yeah, I think you're on the right path, Nicole. I just feel like there's a few more layers for you of like being fully out. That makes sense. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to pull you in, Rebecca. I'm going to go to Bernice after the break, and then we'll dive into the rest of you guys. I'll try to pick up the pace so we can get to as many of you guys as possible. Hi, Rebecca.
Hi.
How are you?
Great. How are you doing?
Good. What do you want to do a reading on tonight?
So I actually just had my first sales call and made a sale. I have my first client. So that happened.
Amazing.
Oh yeah. So like I'm kind of on a high right now, but like I guess really just getting clarity on, like before that happened, it was more, I was saying when I came tonight, I was going to say, what are my next steps? Like just, and I guess it's not really that different even after getting one client, you know? So
yeah. Okay. I'm just going to tune in and just see what we're seeing here. It's funny because I feel like I'm picking up on like some of the nervous energy that you probably felt on that sales call, because that's what I'm feeling as soon as I step in. So the Ace of Water, there's a lot of water cards coming in tonight. So it's actually pointing me more towards the emotions, because I think that sometimes we always think about business from like the next step, the next action, but it's really only one aspect of it. It's sort of like just one of many things. It could be more of like a spiritual thing or an energetic adjustment or a different way to think about something. So this one is talking about, it's funny, it's kind of pointing to relationships. It's talking about love, resurgence of relationships, spiritual growth, enhanced intuition, a new home. So I want to pull a second one just because it's sort of like a very, although it's like, whenever they're kind of trying to push me forward on something, I start to get really hot. And so I just felt that feeling of like a lot of your spirit team rolling in. So there's definitely something there, even though it's not clicking in for me immediately. The 7 of Fire card, it's talking about defending your beliefs or decisions, standing your ground, and choosing your battles wisely. And so for you, the dragons always symbolize divine feminine and a lot of protection as well, meaning that the path that you've chosen, that it is one where you have a lot of guidance, that you have a lot of support. And when you were really open to, tuning in, pulling cards for yourself, meditating, that a lot of the messages come in, a lot of the right people, the right places show up. And so it is really important for you to just really be on your flow. I feel like at times, like in terms of choosing your battles wisely, that I'm seeing that more along the lines of like your time and like how much you push when doors aren't opening. Like I feel like there's certain things, like a certain aspect of your personality that like I feel like have just had a lot of achievement and you're used to winning, and that there's times where you want to prove things, where you're just like, I like know that I could do this. I want to do this because I can figure it out. And at times it's like knowing when to walk away and just be like, well, maybe this isn't for me right now. Maybe this door isn't ready to open yet. And like, it's kind of this sense of like not having anything to prove, but it's more about not having anything to prove to yourself, that there's nothing that needs to be proved in terms of your worthiness. I do feel like, they're showing me like a spiritual kind of twist, like this other card talking about spiritual growth, enhanced intuition. They're showing me like an opening of gifts and sort of like, they're using the word multidimensionality, which is interesting because it's not a word that I don't use very often. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does.
It does? Okay. Because I'm like, I don't use that word a lot. I mean, I hear people use it, but it's kind of like, it's a sense of like you opening and like kind of seeing things like almost in this very different layered way. And I think that it's tied to some things that you're seeing differently, some things that are opening for you right now, some things that are expanding for you right now in terms of your gifts, and then that layering into your work, because it's like, they're showing me that you are seeing it as like almost like next year I might add this in, but they're showing me more that it's actually going to be more like 2 to 3 months. That like in the new year, these things that you're like thinking like, oh, I think at some point I'll feel more confident in this or more confident in this, and then I'll add it in. They're showing me that it actually comes a lot faster because I mean, a lot of shit is changing in the world right now. And I feel like things are speeding up, and like, I think that there's a lot more unexpected things that are happening in the coming months. Obviously, we're in this very big sort of like great awakening phase right now. And so that has an impact on you as well as like the people that show up to you. And so I'm seeing a lot of that. So how is that feeling for you? How is that landing?
Well, I get goosebumps, first of all. So I had somebody tell me the other day, I did like a market research call, and she messaged me, I think 2 or 3 days later, and was like, hey, Rebecca, this is going to sound weird, but have you ever thought about doing energy work, energy healing in your business? And I was like, well, I mean, I did massage therapy and I did Reiki like when I was long ago, and it wasn't something that I had really thought about doing in my coaching business. And it was something where I was like, okay, I'll explore that. We'll see what happens. So I feel like that place of like trusting myself and being like, you know what, this, and the multi-dimensionality and being just connected to the universe and all the dimensions of the universe is how I tap into my energy. So it like all the things you said, like it might not have made sense to you as much, but it definitely made sense to me.
Okay, good. Yeah, and I think that that's one of the things that I always try to do is remember, like, it might not make sense and it might not land, but just pull it through as I'm hearing it so that it lands for you, and that it, I think readings are just about confirming things that have already been coming up for you and for your intuition, for it to come through a different source so that you know, like, well, shit, I'm not making this up if Ashley is telling me this, so we've never talked about it. So, I'm glad that there was some confirmations. And I do think that the universe has a way of like nudging people to say different things. And then after a certain amount of time where we just keep hearing it over and over again, then we actually start to be like, okay, there's something here about this. Yeah. So I think that that's where I would point you in terms of what I see you doing as next steps is getting clear on sort of like, it's almost like I want to call it like your spiritual edge. Like there's like a little bit more of like your unique magic that wants to seep into it. And I feel like you're like a little bit more weird than what your business has presented itself as. And I think that that's going to be an important part of like your brand and what people like really gravitate to you for. So those are the things that I would just have you be thinking about, because that's how you like start to really resonate with your people, and people are just like, who is this like Rebecca? Like I love what she's sharing. I just really like, I really resonate with her. So that's what I'm seeing is next for you.
Huh. Yeah, even what you just said is very true. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for diving in with me tonight. This is so fun. I'm glad I finally got to see you outside of like Facebook comments and see your face.
Yeah. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Bye, Rebecca. Okay, that was so fun. So you guys, don't you want to join live with me and like talk to me? It's so fun. I just love it so much. Okay, so Bernice, we're gonna go to you, and then we're gonna see who else is here tonight. I do have my group, and I want to invite you guys in there. If you especially are a coach or a healer, if you're somebody that wants to approach business through the divine feminine, and really not the way that the more masculine energy, masculine and feminine being balanced in that is important in business, but we do live in a very over masculinized culture, and that has really informed how we show up to business. And so I put a lot in there in terms of coaches and healers, like really finding a different approach and a way of thinking about and showing up in business that really allows that to serve you and support you, rather than feeling like, is business for me? Because this feels a little bit weird. This feels a little bit off. So Bernice, been feeling stuck around my life and purpose and mindset coaching business. Wondering if you have any messages around how I can be magnetizing my soul aligned clients. Okay. Bernice, magnetizing your soul aligned clients. Okay. You have a very healer, light worker energy to you. Are you resisting like speaking and doing video? Because they're showing me this sense of you just like holding back, like this sense of that when you are very lit up about things, Bernice, that you just like really attract the right people. But they're showing me this sense of like you kind of holding back, or certain suggestions are coming to you, and the universe is actually trying to send you a lot of different things, but you're kind of like holding back, and you're just like, no, I don't know. I don't feel ready for that. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. And just sort of like doing all of these different things. It's talking about victory, 6 of Fire, victory, good news is on its way, public recognition or awards. So they're talking to me specifically about writing and speaking. And that's really how you end up pulling in and sort of funneling in a lot of clients. But just, I want to roll into the next person, but I just want you to look at where you're sort of resisting or what stories you're making up, because it almost feels like, not that you feel like a shy person, but it almost feels like in the world of business that you're sort of kind of trying to avoid or duck or sort of committing and not following through with some of those things that are more out of your comfort zone. So yes. Tell me more. I want to hear from you. Okay. So Solange. Hi, Solange. So
Hi.
what's our number situation?
Number situation is still up to number 11. We should do Nicole, which is number 2, Nicole Carpenter, because we did Nicole, the other Nicole, which is
I did.
Number 7.
I'm sorry. Okay, thank you for telling me that. So is it Nicole? Okay, so Nicole Carpenter. I'm sorry, guys. And then who's number 1 as well?
Sorry, number
1. I'm going to do that
1
person.
It's Jocelyn.
Jocelyn. Okay. Jocelyn, we're going to do you next.
Booked Glow Rosales for 6:45.
Okay. Cool, you guys. Okay. Sorry, Nicole. I got mixed up with the other one. Okay. Offer and program. Is it what moms want and need right now? Okay. Okay. So first, they're just really wanting to acknowledge some I just feel like you've been being really consistent. Like, I just feel like I see you doing and holding so much in your life right now, and that it's just very badass. So 8 of Air is coming in. It's talking about an illusion of being trapped, lack of self-confidence, or afraid to take action. And so everything that we're seeing with the Air cards, it's really about the mind, the intellect, the thinking, and the beliefs. And so that is the angle. What I want to talk to you about is that it doesn't feel specific enough yet, and that I see this like sense of like leaving the pack. That's what I want to point you to with your offer, is it just doesn't feel specific enough, and that it's almost like as if it's talking to like all moms or most moms. And I actually want you to like dive a little bit deeper, because when you make it more specific, I see it attracting like a more unique situation that you have some kind of unique experience in, and that it's also more fun for you. So that's what I want to point you towards, is it's sort of like it's not even about like changing what they want or need. It's sort of like changing, sort of like more specific, getting more specific with the profile of the mom, and then it actually informs what they want to need even more, because it's easier to ask that question. It's easier to be more specific about it. So that's where I want to point you. I want to go to Jocelyn just really quick, because I know you've been waiting for a little bit. Jocelyn, are you still on? Can you give me a, let's see, Jocelyn. I'm looking for your question, because I know we have Glow. Jocelyn, can you drop your question for me? Because I'm kind of scrolling all the way up and I'm not seeing it. Solange, is Glow joining in the comments, or is she joining live?
Just comments.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Glow, if you can also put your question in the comments once you arrive here, so I can dive in and I can help you with that. So Jocelyn, Glow, for whatever reason, I just really want to go to number 9. Who's number 9?
Number 9 is Terry.
It's Terry. Okay, great. Oh, Glow said live. Can you make sure Glow can get the link?
I'll give her the link. Yep. Okay.
Perfect. Glow, in the comments. You are going to get the link. Oh, sorry. So Nicole, the process, we have a number system, so Solange can help you. If you guys want to jump the line, by the way, I do have that link that Solange just dropped, and we just basically jump you to the head of the line. Glow, you'll see that link right there. I'll put you into the live as soon as I see you come into the backstage area. And then Jocelyn, I know that you have been waiting for a little bit, Jocelyn, and so I wanted to get to you if you are still on. But Nicole, I can't always get to everybody, and so we let Spirit choose the order by having a number system. And so I'll call it the number that I'm drawn to, and Solange helps coordinate the numbers. So, and then Terry Bays, I know you're another one that we had. If you're still here, if you can drop your question. Terry. Okay. I'm trying to scroll through, but I don't see, sometimes it's a lot on my end if you guys put your question all the way up to scroll all the way down. So it shows me that you're still here, that you're listening, that you're with me, so that I can prioritize those of you guys that are live. Okay. So I'm going to go to Glow since she's the first one, and then we'll see if Jocelyn or Terry are around. I'm pulling you in. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I love watching
you.
You have such beautiful energy, so thank you for doing this.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So what do we want to do a reading about?
This year has been very challenging. I don't want to say it's been the worst, because no matter what, we're all blessed in whatever we're given. But
yeah,
it's been a struggle left and right. So I'm trying to figure out what needs to come, because I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to even lose my house at that point. So it's at that level. I'm like, okay, well, let me just see.
Okay.
Want to get into that fear mode either, because then I'm going to block any abundance coming through. So things slowly come, but not to the level that I need to. So I just want to see
Okay.
what's out there.
Okay. Okay. Let's pull a card and see what we're feeling. Okay. So the Five of Earth card is coming. I'm going to pull two. Five of Earth, talking about fears surrounding money, the wisdom to accept help from others, and uncertain self-employment. So out of this deck with all these cards, it's always amazing when something like that pops in. That's like exactly what you just said. I feel like a few different things, and then I'll go to the other fire card. There's something here about some things that you have said no to. Like when it's talking about help from others, it's almost like there have been people that have been like offering, or friends that have been saying things, and I see you being like, no, it's okay, or like, I appreciate it so much, I'll let you know, like if that happens, or if I want you to make that connection or that introduction. And so I just want you to really watch the receiving mode energy, because it gets sent through different types of people and different kinds of channels. And I just want you to be even more tuned to that mode of receiving. And so that anytime something is being offered to you, I mean, not anytime, but most things, just like being more open and receptive. And I think I was mentioning it earlier, of even like compliments, of even like nice things, instead of like brushing it off, of just being like really taking a moment to like fully absorb it and take it in. And so that's really important. And there's something else that I'm seeing in terms of like other seeds that have been planted, that like pop up kind of unexpectedly, like things that maybe work that you put in at a different time, at a past time, and like you've almost like forgot that you did it, and then something pops up. And so it might be like people showing up to work with you, or opportunities coming in that you're like, oh, like I totally forgot about that, or I wasn't even thinking that that was a possibility. So I'm seeing some of that happening. The Ace of Fire card, it's talking about an exciting new opportunity, career advancement. It's talking about changing life. So what it's also showing me is that there's some kind of a reroute. Have you guys thought about, let me sink into this. It almost feels like a very different kind of thing in terms of location or geography. Like it's almost like it feels further. Like I don't know if there's a part of you that is like, oh, I always dreamed of living in this kind of place or this kind of space, that there's some kind of dream that's attached. It almost feels like the energy of like moving to a different state or something like that you've always sort of wanted to do, or that you're considering. Has that been a part of conversation lately?
Yes, I actually told, just throwing out of the blue, I said I wanted to move to Miami. I want the house to be able to sell, and just like I said, things have happened one after another. Like there was water damage in there, but then I saw it because I was able to get the payment from the insurance to pay the mortgage, which held off until March, which then I could get the forbearance on the house all the way till December. So I'm like, okay, there's things happening. So I'm like, okay. And now I'm like, what can I do now to see if I can sell the house quickly to get rid of this, and whatever money comes, I may find, like, I'm just trying to think of different means of how to bring something in. And you know what? Someone offered me, a friend of mine had a teacher who needed help cleaning the garage. I would have never done it in the past. I said, I'll do it. 3 hours, she paid me $100, which was great because I needed money to get groceries. Like it's been at that level.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm a professional. I was like, oh my gosh, it's gone. I've never been here. So I don't know what resources are out there, but I'm finding them. Like, this is great because I can help someone in the future if they ever come across this, because I'm going through that. But to that point where it's like my gas was cut off. So right now I'm boiling water for my son to take him a hot bath. It's getting to that level. So I'm like, something just has to give. I'm like, I can't get a job because, we're closed. And I do network marketing business, and I'm trying to find different ways to really bring more value to the client. I just want to get the money to get it. I'm like, no, what else can I do to bring value to them? Because that's going to be long and sustainable. But yes, I want to move because I feel like I'm done here. And the house is holding me. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's kind of like the universe gets louder and louder when we're trying to be redirected until it's it's sort of like we can listen to it at a whisper, or it gets very loud and it gets very intense until we almost feel like we're being forced into it. And so I just want you to watch those nudges. And if you're seeing those nudges, like, it's kind of like, I think that when you see like, wow, like, okay, well, if I did see this as a redirection and a nudging to this other place, right, to where it might not have been inconvenient to make a move like that, like, I want you to really just make that simple switch of being like, okay, well, how is this actually guiding me towards a direction that is a better life, is the life that I want, the thing that I've been dreaming about? And it sort of lets you open to different possibility, and it allows you to see different pathways or different options that you weren't aware of before. And then I think the other thing as well, as I was seeing, you said, I talked about seeds sprouting up. Like, so I just want you to like keep remembering that and keep seeing that as well, of like things that you've long forgotten about that seemingly come out of nowhere based on relationships or connections or things that you had. Like, I really see a lot of that going on. And I think that it's like, instead of being in the place of resistance with what's going on, it's seeing like, okay, well, if I were to move with the river, with the flow of the river and where it's guiding me, versus kind of battling upstream against it and being like, oh my gosh, it's sort of like, what is here? Because it does feel as simple as sort of just like turning around and being like, oh, I didn't see that. Like, oh, there's this other option. And so it's very much like that for you. So with what you're talking about, Miami, I want you to tune to that and ask Spirit to show you what's possible or what your next move is, because I don't think it's any coincidence that I'm seeing it. And I mean, it's talking about it's time to change your life. So they're pushing you towards a change. So
that's awesome.
Okay.
Wow, this was great. I'm this is great. Thank you so much. You bring so much value with everything you do. And I love the you sharing this about the coaching, because that's something I'm now seeing it more. And when you're doing all these things, I'm like, okay, let me look into this. And because I don't have any clients yet, but I'm like, okay, what else can I do to really better my skills? So I appreciate you sharing the group. That's pretty awesome. So thank you.
Thank you, Glow. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye. See you next time.
Okay, you guys. I'm going to go to Terry. Jocelyn, are you still here? Jocelyn. If not, we'll see who else we have going on. Okay, so Terry, Fun Tweak group or business? Fun Tweak group or business? Okay. Fun Tweak for business or group. Okay. Okay, Terry, I feel like the thing that's coming in is like working with like sound and frequency, that there's like kind of some more specific tweak. And it's interesting because I almost feel it in my chest point. It's almost like something that rises from, I want to call it like our creative center and comes up and out. And I'm just seeing for you that there's something that is a little bit more uniquely you that wants to come in. And this 3 of Earth card is talking about the power of creativity, recognition for very high quality work in being a team player. I do feel like for you, okay. The thing that I was feeling in the chest is it's kind of like hitting me more at the solar plexus, and it's something as it relates to working more specifically about things that relate to the solar plexus and things that clear like blocks of the solar plexus and how to work with energy of the solar plexus. And so it's kind of like what I see it almost being is kind of like a theme that steps in that gives you more clear direction. And that once you have a specific like theme in your mind that you're just like, great, I could do this or this or this, because it kind of seems like you need like something to hook into a little bit more, and then that wakes up the rest of your creativity. But yeah, I do want you to just think about like sound frequency, like even like it's kind of like a vocal kind of a toning kind of thing is what I'm feeling, or even like some kind of thing that you might do related to chanting. I don't know directly what it is or why it's coming in, but that is what I'm seeing. So I'm going to grab, I didn't see Jocelyn come back, so I'm just going to go to whoever I'm seeing. Nicole. Okay, I'm not sure who's still on tonight. Are you still on, Nicole? Or I'll take one more person since Jocelyn didn't come. So Terry, you would like to wake up to using sound differently. Okay, good. Okay. Tell me who is still here. I want to go to one more person for just like a really quick reading. And if not, you guys, I have the group. You can, okay, Nicole, good. I do have the group, so you guys can always be one of the people that gets the reserved spot. It's a reserved spot. So Nicole Broyne. Okay. How to pivot to in-person healing arts business to online. I haven't known what to do, but really want to shift so I can take care of my children, bring in sustainable income. Thank you so much. Okay, Nicole Broyne. Okay. Okay, it's funny. Again, this 9 of Water card coming in for the 3rd time today. So Nicole, like specification is coming in for you as well. And this really goes for like all of the healers, light workers, coaches, is that sometimes we work so much in like the 5D energies and frequencies, and we're just like so up here in terms of the spiritual world. Meanwhile, there's everybody that has a lot of just kind of how you're talking about right now, right? Of like having these 3D things of like actual, like I need this, like I need to make money, I need to do this. So it's really important to ground everything down in a really practical way. And that's one of the things that I really like to help people make those connections with, because it's like it's more about how you're talking about it and how you're taking the spiritual work that you do and grounding it down to being like, and this is sort of like the outcomes that people are having and how it helps you get to where you want to go based on your goals and based on what you want. And it's sort of making it less of a luxury into something that it has like this practical application. And I also am seeing sort of like a few different layers of things. Like it's almost like there's some kind of system, and I don't think that you've gone there just yet, because it feels like it's more like you're using a lot of other people's tools, but there's a few different things that I see you doing. And I see that when you sort of merge them together and you pull in some of your past experience, that it kind of gets molded together into this very unique kind of process and way that you do it. 9 of Water, it's talking about your wishes come true, concerns fade away, and a love of life. So it's so interesting that this card has been showing up very much to affirm for a lot of the healers and light workers that it's like, you're so close, like don't stop now, like you need to keep going, you need to keep going. So I am really seeing that with you. This Empress card is coming in as well. It's talking about lavish abundance, giving birth to your dreams and nurturing yourself and others. So what I'm really getting for you with this Empress card is it's very much how I was talking about molding together these different things. It's kind of like it's sort of like birthing your own creative process, like your own creative way that you deliver your services, because it's kind of like the thing that I see you doing right now. It feels like there's like could be a lot of competition, but as soon as you bring in these other pieces and you sort of morphed it together in your own unique way and ground it into the practical, I see a lot changing and shifting for you. And it becomes easier to sell it. It becomes easier because then there's that pain point. Then there becomes like that practical reason that people are like, well, of course I would spend money. Like you're removing this challenge, you're removing this pain point for me. And it's like, it's just like a few different things that you switch around that make it really different. So that is all for me tonight, you guys. I do have my group, How to Make Money Being Magical. And there's a link in whatever the description is of what we're doing here. And it's for coaches and healers. It is a place where I show up regularly for you. I go live a lot in there, helping you, bringing you a lot of tools. There's a lot of things in there around finding clients through a site called Upwork. And I regularly share leads in there for clients, for coaches and healers, make a lot of connections in there of people that are in the group finding and hiring each other and collaborating with each other. So join me in there if that describes you. I'm here every Tuesday for this from 6 to 7 o'clock Pacific time. So yes, what else? And on Mondays in the group, you guys, I always post those like fun pictures where you get to be like, what card am I drawn to? 1, 2, or 3, and get your business message. So there is a lot of stuff in there for you. It's really fun. Come hang out, and I will see you guys in there. I'll see you next week. If anybody, by the way, does want to find out how to work with me, I do have some things coming up in the future for coaches and healers that are launching their business, that are getting from the point of just starting out to being to that place where they can promote, that they know their message, they know their platforms, they're showing up regularly, and basically helping them put all the pieces together with a deep dive reading, as well as all the tools and working together regularly. And also for the people that already have their train on the tracks that want to pick up the pace, increase engagement, raise their prices by making their offers more specific, and building out their own way of showing up on Facebook and in groups and understanding what problem they solve. I do have those things coming up, and it is actually kicking off on December 2nd and 3rd. So make sure you DM me. Make sure that you drop into my private messages or hit me up in the group if you are wanting some help on this journey. And I will see you guys later. Bye, everybody.